Welcome into TexAgs Rewind, presented by Yeti. The Fan Show guys are here with me. Leanna Davison at the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. All right, friends, I guess the way we can kind of summarize the Fan Show today was somebody in this panel started off kind of a negative Nancy.
Yeah.
He came around.
I mean, as soon as he came on, the radio's turned
If you
on.
ask me the question, I'll answer it.
Kelly, I tell you, I think we're all in wait-and-see mode as well.
Okay.
But I'm a fan, so I'm excited. Change is good.
Change it will be good. I'm not against change.
All right, so on the program today, OB was with us. He was good. He did a little RC, by the way.
I heard that. I'm gonna have to watch the rewind.
Yeah, it was good. It was good.
I do want to see the mullet, by the way. I would like to see this mullet.
He's not getting it done. He failed us. RC Slocum, the real one, joined us. Ryan Swope, Stephen McGee, together, they joined us. Logan Lee, he joined us. And, of course, these knuckleheads. Oh, by the way, watch the rewind.
Okay, number 2, Bo Nix, the Oregon quarterback. He's the nation's leading passer. He's thrown for 3,906 yards, 37 touchdown passes. Second in the nation in total offense with 4,065 total yards. Last week in that 31-7 victory over Oregon State, 367 yards, 2 touchdown passes, rushed for 31 yards and a score. And did you see the game, the big touchdown pass he threw just before the half?
Yeah.
Man, that's a Heisman moment.
Well, I was going to say, if the winner of this game between these two teams, if Bo Nix has just a Heisman-esque type of performance, or Michael Penix, or they both, I think they could pass Jaden Daniels with some of the voters. They could.
Well, could. I think they're already ahead of him with some of the voters, especially those on the West Coast. But number 1 in my mind is Jaden Daniels, the LSU quarterback. Please disagree with me if you must. I would listen and I'd hear you out. But
he's my guy right now.
But Daniels leads the nation in total offense, 4,946 yards. That's 881 yards more than anyone else. And he didn't do the stat padding games. Go back and look what he did against like Grambling,
right?
Or Army. He's passed for 3,812 yards and leads the nation with 40 touchdown passes. Also rushed for 1,134 yards and 10 touchdowns. We're talking about a guy that by the season, I know the voting's over before the bowl game, but he's going to have over 1,000 yards rushing and over 4,000 yards passing. In that win over Texas A&M, just 235 passing yards, but 4 touchdowns. 3 of those were, like I said, in the fourth quarter. He didn't score a rushing touchdown, even though he had 120 yards. But we know his 49-yard scramble kind of changed that game.
Your thoughts on bringing a defensive-minded head coach to A&M? Just your thoughts on the hire overall.
Well, I'm very pleased with it. I knew Mike when he was here. I watched his work here. I thought he did great work at A&M. I think he's a good guy. And in terms of the defensive head coach, there's a couple of guys in the SEC that were former defensive coaches, and they've done pretty well. The coach at Alabama and the coach at Georgia, to name a couple of guys that had defensive backgrounds. I knew both of them when they were assistants, and they've done a great job. So I told people a defensive coach has spent his career in film rooms watching offenses and having to defend offenses, so he knows full well what's really hard and what's not so hard, and what wins games.
Hey, RC, this is Olin Buchanan here. Mike made a point at his introductory press conference to talk about creating the relationship with the Texas high school football coaches, things like that. Why is that? And I know you recruited Texas great. You always said that you thought you could win a national championship with just Texas guys. But you tell me from a coach's perspective, why is that so important even today?
I think it's really important. I was so glad to see him reach out to the high school coaches. This is a great football state. You can make the argument the best, or certainly one of the best 2 or 3 in the whole country that produces college and NFL players. And I've always felt like if you at Texas A&M, your base recruiting has to be in Texas. And one of the big reasons you can see these kids when they're young, and you can make good evaluations. It's not just getting guys; it's getting guys that fit your program, that want to be here.
Let's close out with this. A&M, Texas, we've already known the game was coming, but now we got a date. It's exactly a year from today. now it's starting to feel real. Like, you know, like this season's done. Their Texas is still playing, unfortunately, but this season's basically done outside the bowl game. Just your thoughts, guys.
Man, yeah, go ahead.
That's a good football team coming to town.
Yeah, it is.
I'm fired up. That rivalry is going to be heated, and hopefully we retain our roster. I'm fired up with Mike Elko because I think he can come here and have success.
I do too.
Year one.
Yeah, I love this rivalry. I'll be honest with you. A lot of Aggies, they didn't want to play the T-SIPs. Excuse me. I think it's not fair for these kids in this great state that you know that have been playing each other on a high school level. And I've got so many buddies over there. We finally get to. I mean, there was so much trash talking for nothing.
Oh, yeah.
You just sit there and talk for nothing, and complain for nothing. And now we get to tee it up every year.
What's better than that?
I mean, golly.
It is the best. Of course, we're biased because we grew up in Texas, but like,
it's settled.
There's no rivalry like Texas A&M. We are the football state. We are, and now you got the two schools. There's been so much bad blood between them over the last decade with the SEC. Tee it up.
Yeah, and one thing I will say, and Longhorns would say the same thing, we make each other better at the end of the day.
100%.
We need each other as much as we may not want each other. We need each other. I think we compete at a higher level.
I think it was a mix of, unfortunately, not having Radford.
Mm-hmm.
He changes the team. Obviously, he changes the team. He's the most veteran player on this team. He's known Buzz for a decade now and been a part of the system for forever. He changes the team and he helps everybody, in particular Wade Taylor, who needs help right now.
Yep.
But outside of some of the unexplainable turnovers that A&M had, like Virginia is, man, their defense is good. But what really surprised, everybody knows their defense is good. They play that pack line defense, and they've always been a defensive team. However, what I was impressed with was their offense.
Yeah.
Virginia knew every rotation that A&M had. They knew they're getting forced baseline. They didn't even try to drive the middle. They knew they were getting forced baseline. But when they got forced baseline, they knew everybody was rotating. They knew all the rotations, and it was a skip pass to the right player every single time. Right. And even if A&M recovered, they were moving the ball so quickly that A&M, the second person couldn't recover. The third player couldn't recover. And they just kept passing the ball until they got a very good shot. That is the sign of an experienced, good team. They may not have a number in front of their name right now, but they will at the end of the year. They're a good basketball team. Just like I think Iowa State, depending on how they go through the Big 12, they may have a number in front of their name. I don't know. I think they're a fringe top 25 team, but they're good, and they've been through the battles of the Big 12. You know, I think what A&M has done, starting with Penn State, losing to FAU, beating Iowa State, now having to play Virginia, and if you look ahead, DePaul, Memphis, Houston, this is the schedule. If they can win 2 of the next 3 games, which is going to be tough, that's going to be very tough. But if they can
DePaul and who?
I mean, if they can get one of Memphis or Houston, that'd be fantastic. If they can get Houston, look out.
Right.
Things are coming down. And we're going to have a parade just in the middle of the season.
All right, that's going to do it for TexAgs Rewind. Let's go over to Leanna Davison. Tell the people what to do because the YouTube numbers recently have been going in the right direction.
Yeah, let's like, comment, subscribe. We're almost at 13K subscribers, guys. So let's get there. Let's go to 15K. Let's just jump a whole K.
Let's just
we got it.
Do it.
Love it.
Love
do
it.
Let's do it.
K.
Just click the subscribe button. It doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Why wouldn't you do it?
Keep liking.
If you're a Texas fan watching, because I know you're watching, like, why wouldn't you like?
There's no downfall to it. It's not like we're
Nothing.
going to litter your thing with TexAgs
emails or
stuff.
something. It's like literally saving puppies by doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Subscribe.